the video, it was Guam,
Mm.
your parents, ano pa yung kulang?
Saudi.
Wala, Saudi na lang. So, you went there that night that you went to give the bribe money. You went to Saudi. And then, what happened there?
No, in Saudi, I already told you about when I applied there, no? Not
Correct.
yet. Not yet.
Well, you only talked about how your friend's, the neighbor's brother
Yeah,
was
yeah,
a
that's it,
recruiter.
that's it.
And then you went, all the way up until you went to the airport na.
When we went to the airport, the first stopover we got is Bahrain.
Okay.
Bahrain. That's where we sleep a night, a whole night. And then by 4 o'clock in the morning, they travel us by pickup, and it's cold. Ooh. Give us some time
So
because
you
it's
didn't,
winter.
so you didn't have the proper clothes.
We don't have the proper one. We are all crawling on the back of the pickup.
How many were you?
Huh?
Ilan kayo?
Maybe about 8 of us in a pickup. In the bed of a pickup. That's why it's too cold. And then so we that night we already they brought us to the airport
Yeah.
to get a plane going to Saudi.
Okay.
And then that morning, about 4 o'clock in the morning, we take a plane to Saudi.
Okay.
And then when we reach Saudi, a bus, a school bus, like a school bus.
Yeah.
It's yellow also, like school bus. They pick us up in the airport, going to Raqqa. That's in Al-Khobar. That's where we stay in those barracks up there.
Okay.
Those barracks up there are full of rats. Ooh. And then that time it's like a rainy season over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not really rainy, but it's happened that it's raining. When I went to the door, because they stepped that we have to go on, because the hallway is flooded,
Mm-hmm.
and there are some hollow blocks on those to step on to go to the restroom.
Okay.
But those hollow blocks are full of rats.
On the inside?
No, outside. Full of rats. You don't have any choice than to step on them.
Huh?
So what I did, I don't want to step on them.
Are they
I step on the flood when it's too cold because it's winter.
They were alive or they were dead?
They were alive. It's full of rats over there. This is the first time I saw rats. They're big. We got dogs over there and cats, but the cats are the one who's hiding and the dogs. That's the first time I noticed that it's full of rats. The only thing that they cannot go inside because our barracks are aircon.
Okay.
They cannot go inside. But as soon as you open it, they can go inside.
Oh my God.
And then the next day of that, they fix our document to start to work. In Saudi, it's a hard. That is, I think that's the hardest parts of my life. Experience on working.
Why?
Because over there, you don't have any freedom. You don't have freedom.
Like you can't go out and...
You cannot go out because you don't have car.
Okay.
There is only every Friday, they're gonna take us from the barracks with a bus.
Okay.
They're gonna bring us to the downtown, but it's limited for 2 hours only. Within 2 hours, you finish or not finish, they're gonna leave you. They're gonna leave you. The bus will leave you. And you don't have any transportation to go back to the area. Imagine how far is that?
Yeah.
Like from here to Manila.
Oh, okay. So the place that you worked at over there in Saudi with all those rats, it was like anong tawag nito? Like, was it an isolated place?
It's not
Like
isolated.
far?
In our place, there's a batching plant. Our company got a batching plant. And that is where we are. The batching plant is separate from us at the same place.
Okay.
That's where we are. That's what I'm telling you. That's why we don't have freedom. That's it. In a week, we got only 2 hours to bring us to the downtown. And if you want to go to buy something, but within 2 hours, you have to be back to the bus, or else they're gonna leave you. And then every day we work 10 hours a day like that. But the problem when it's Ramadan, it's too hot. When Ramadan, we start 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. So you pretty much followed their routines as well. So like when it's
When
halal or Ramadan.
when it's Ramadan, they're gonna change the schedule of work.
Okay.
Our breakfast is about 3:30 to 4 o'clock in the morning.
So you have to follow the diet.
You have to follow it, or else you're not gonna eat. Because for them, they cannot eat
Yeah. Yeah.
daytime. They cannot eat daytime. So we eat about 3:30 in the morning,
Okay.
and then by 4 o'clock we leave the vessel to go to work. We work until 10 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
and then they're gonna bring us home already. When we go home, the what you call it, the lunch plates are already in our barrack.
Okay.
They already delivered it over there.
Eaten by.
We eat in our inside only. Inside we cannot eat outside because we cannot eat in the presence of them, a Muslim. Cannot.
Okay.
And then there's also a problem with door. When it's cold, when it's winter, we need the hot water, but we don't have hot water. So what we gonna do? You see those cooler, the cooler ne?
Yeah.
They have some hot water on that one. What we gonna do? We're gonna get hot water on that, on those like 1 gallon of that. And then we're gonna mix it with 1 bucket of water. That's why we can take a bath. When it's hot, it's the same thing. Because our supply of water are elevated tanks. Top, very you can cook eggs. Yeah, you cannot take a shower on that water.
Yeah.
So what we do, we're gonna go to the fountain and get like 1 gallon of water too, the cold water.
Yeah.
We mix it on that. So that's why we can. In the morning, so you can take shower in the morning. You have to be awake 2 o'clock to get some
Cold
hot
water.
water or cold or hot water.
Okay.
That's the thing. That's the life in Saudi. It's really hard.
How many years were you there in Saudi?
Huh?
How many years?
Almost 5 years. Almost 5 years.
Within those 5 years, did you ever go visit home, or did you had to stay there? The
No,
whole
yeah,
5 years?
we got a vacation every year.
Okay.
Like every year we got a vacation. They're gonna give us 2 weeks, and then we have to come back.
Yeah.
They're gonna give us what they call this one, the re-entry visa. What they call it, re-entry visa.
Okay.
But for 4 years I'm working over there, and then the life is like that. Yeah, the life is like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then when that's 1980. By the end of 1985.
So you were there from 1980 to 1985?
Like something 81, I think.
Okay.
So,
Towards the end of that?
but I didn't. It's not straight 5 years, almost 5 years. So when the last time when I came, they give me re-entries like 85.
Okay.
85. I just came then 2 months only. When I got the re-entry, I came back up there. And then your Uncle Bill, still remember Uncle Bill, is that?
Yeah.
Jack Peter.
Jack Peters. Yes.
So, Uncle Bill told me, I request you to Jack Peters again. I told no, to Park of Pacific.
Yeah, yes.
So, I don't know why, but I told him, I just came over here. I cannot just,
Leave.
they're not gonna give me a one. They're not gonna let me go because just 2 months.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking about what to do now. So, what I did, I told mom. I told
Oh,
your
this
mom.
is the telegram one.
Yeah, I told mom, I'm gonna send me a telegram. Don't put anything, just emergency on the telegram. Emergency. You have to go home. Don't put nothing like something latay. No, that's emergency.
Yeah.
You have to go home.
No explanation.
So she sent me that one. I went to the office. I told them, I know I was only 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I don't like to go. I don't like to go to because I need the money.
Yeah.
I need money for my family.
Yeah.
But I don't like this telephone this telegram that my wife sent me. If it's not emergency, she won't send me like this thing. So maybe you have to buy your ticket, something like that.
Yeah.
So I told them, if that's the case, I told them, I'm willing to pay my ticket as long as I go. And then, so they didn't let me like that. Okay, we're gonna purchase your ticket, and then we're gonna give you a re-entry again.
Okay.
So I told them, I thank you very much. Told them, thank you. So I went home. They didn't know that I'm still gonna come back. I got re-entry.
Yeah.
The re-entry was being paid by the company.
Okay.
But when I came over here, as soon as I came in Manila, they told me to report right away to the office in Malati in Manila.
Yeah.
Then they told me, if you are already ready because your visa is already approved. When you are ready, just let us know because you're the last one to be to fly. All your companion already there. So that's what happened. After that one, so when I came to Guam, the first thing I did is I went to Jack Peters to tell them that I'm there already.
Yeah. Did you have to get another work visa for Guam, or that's the same work visa?
After Park of Pacific?
No, when you went to Guam, did you have to get another visa?
No more.
Same.
Because the request from Guam is straight.
Okay.
Straight. when they stamp my one, it's already a visa.
Okay.
So I went to Pacific and then we work up there and we stay at Tamuning. Tamuning, where that mayor. We went over after that when
Mayor who?
that's a Mayor Guerrero.
Okay.
Mayor Guerrero one. We stay in his house. Like how many of us? I think 11 of us. We staying in one house. But when the time that Guerrero, he's a mayor that time of there. When I mayor commissioner.
Yeah.
By the time
His
when he already need the house,
Yeah.
so Parco Pacific told us you have to move to Harmon.
Okay.
There's already a barracks for you guys of Filipino up there because we are only 11 Filipino.
Yeah.
All our co-workers are Korean that
Okay.
time. Yeah. So they move us up there. When they move us over there, the company told us you have to buy your own food and you have to cook your own food
Okay.
because we cannot join the Korean. We don't have the same food.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's what happened. We are cooking our food and buying our what we did. Then after that, maybe in the long run, so that's the time we build that Micronesia Mall foundation, all foundation of Micronesia Mall.
Okay.
And then a tube golf course in Jigo. And then Oka Tower in Tamuning, Jonestown. And lot of more. Micronesia Mall. We finish all the finishing of Micronesia Mall. And then but when that time one of my co-worker, he want to divorce his wife because he want to marry over there.
A Guamanian Chamorita.
We are in Guam, yeah. He want to become a resident.
Oh.
He told me I'm gonna marry. But I don't know where to look for a lawyer.
Yeah.
So that
Around what year was
no,
it?
somebody told him attorney Buman in immigration.
Yeah.
It's more easier and very fast.
Mhm.
So I told him, okay, let's go up there. I drive him up there. We go to Buman.
What year was this one? Do you
That's
remember?
something like about 88 already,
Okay.
1988. Then when that time 88, so I help him. And then when we are leaving already after he got appointment to Buman, when we are still at the office of Buman. When we are leaving, Secretary of Buman told us, "Hey, you guys, do you know somebody that are been denied? Those who apply in 1978, 78,
Yeah.
who apply for permanent residence that were been denied by immigration and labor. Attorney Buman can fix those one now. But my document I'm still holding them.
Mhm.
I just don't tell them. So I told the secretary, okay, can you give me a telephone number? So I'm gonna check my paperwork if I still got it. But I already got it.
Yes.
Then when I went to Uncle Bill. Bill, maybe you can help me on this one. You ask for an appointment for me at Buman. We're gonna go there. You help me. I told him because I never talk to an attorney like this.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So to make it pass, we made an appointment, and then I told Pargo Pacific, I'm not gonna work today, so I have an appointment to move on to. I have an appointment, I have to go. I told them. I didn't tell that we are going to move on.
Okay.
So we went and Uncle Bill. And then woman look at my my paperwork. Imagine 1970, it's already 10 years, I'm still holding those ones.
Yes.
Then when woman told me, "Oh, you're very lucky," I told him. He told me, I can guarantee you, you're gonna be a permanent residence. He told me. Now I'm gonna ask you, where do you want your green card to be released? Here in Guam or in Philippines? When he saw my paperwork.
Yeah.
Okay, I told him, you have to give me, but my family are not ready yet, Mr. Woman. I told him, no, we're gonna fix all those things. Anyway, I told him, here in Guam or in the Philippines doesn't matter to me as long as I become permanent resident. You already consider yourself permanent resident now, told me. Even though you don't have paper. The only thing that you have to do now, call your wife and get all the document of your one from birth certificate up
Everything. Yeah.
of all your family. So I told mom, okay, prepare all those things, and then it's only about a month. No, 3 weeks only. Mr. Dr. Attorney Bowman told me, here are the document. You send this one to your family, to mama. Tell them to sign all this thing and then bring back to me.
Okay.
So, that time it's only like, oh, you're not there that time.
No.
So we send, and then after 2 weeks, it's very fast. After 2 weeks, Mr. Buban called me, by phone. You have to report here. We're gonna talk something. Told me. So I went there. Did you told your family already that? Yeah, my wife told me they already fix everything. Oh, that's good. So now I'm gonna ask you. You wanna go home now, or you still want to stay? Your company now cannot control you where you want to go. Told me. Even though you take vacation, he cannot tell you that you cannot come back anymore. So I told woman, it's too fast. Attorney, I told him, I cannot just do like this one. I'm already a contract worker. I don't have money.
Yeah.
So, and one thing, I don't even know how much you charge me. I don't even know.
You didn't ask him in the beginning?
No. You don't. I don't even know how much you charge me now. What kind of payment I can pay you in case. No. Don't worry about the payment. I'm gonna charge you only $500. It's up to you how you pay them. Pay me $20 a month or whatever.
That story I remember.
So that's what he said. Whatever you want to pay me, but don't pay me one thing because I know your situation. So that's what they told me. So that's what I mean. I don't have money there. I told her. So and now it's up to you there. But this the thing. Maybe that's July or August. That when we talk like that. When your paperwork's already all set up, I'm gonna call you. You have to go home. You have to ask for an interview in the embassy in the United States. Sabi niya. So okay. By I think that's October. By October, he called me. You can go home now. You can go home now. But tell me, when do you want to get the interview? So no, I told him it's only October. Any day or any date in November, I'll be available. So he took, I don't remember anymore the date. So we went there. We went to the embassy with Mama, I borrowed the car of your auntie in St. Jude.
Yeah.
At first he's like scared that he doesn't know that I know to drive.
Yes.
And one thing, I'm gonna go Manila.
Right.
So because we helped them too before. We got an interview by the one. Then he told me.
So when you went to the embassy though first, did you have to make an appointment or you have to show?
No,
you show up and then you wait.
The attorney woman or set up the attorney. That's the date only. That's where I'm gonna go. So we went there at the embassy, and then you know what the embassy told me. What's your reason why you like to stay in America? Why you apply for one? I told him I love America. I love America because the America support. It is not only I support America. I support my family because the dollar of America, and I like the way they pay me, and I love it. I love the place. I want to stay in America. I told him. So, do you have a proof that you've been in America for a long time? Yeah, I gave him that, the passport, the first one.
Yeah, your very first passport.
So, Lana, you're already long. Told him, so you're long time already. You've been here, yeah. I told him. Because since 1971. Then he looked at all the paperwork. Yeah. No more. He didn't ask me any more question. He told me, now, poke like this. And then, you're already a permanent resident. Congratulations.